What if I told you that one simple habit is quietly draining your energy, killing your confidence, and keeping you stuck in life? You feel exhausted, unmotivated, and trapped in a cycle you can't seem to escape. But what if the secret to unshakable self-control and true masculinity has been hiding in plain sight all along? Stick with me, because after hearing this, you'll never look at this habit the same way again. There's something that modern society doesn't want you to question, a habit that's been normalized, even encouraged. They say it's harmless. They say it's natural. But deep down you felt it, that sense of guilt, that lack of drive, that emptiness afterward. You know something isn't right. This isn't just about breaking a habit. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about becoming the man you were meant to be. The greatest minds in history, Stoic philosophers, warriors, visionaries, they all knew the truth. Self-mastery is the key to true freedom. And today, I'm going to show you what they knew, so you can break free, regain control, and transform your life forever. Are you ready? Let's begin. Let's be honest, you felt it. That moment right after. The brief hit of pleasure fades, and what's left? A sense of emptiness, a lack of motivation, a feeling that something inside you is slipping away. You try to ignore it, justify it, tell yourself it's normal. But deep down, you know the truth. Something isn't right. Science has already confirmed what you feel. Every time you indulge in this habit, your brain releases a massive surge of dopamine, the pleasure chemical. Sounds good, right? Wrong. Because the more you indulge, the more your brain gets addicted to quick, easy pleasure. And just like any addiction, the side effects start to show. You feel drained, weak, unmotivated. Your drive to accomplish real goals fades away. Your confidence drops. Your focus disappears. Because your brain has already received its reward, without you actually achieving anything. It's like hacking the system, but in the worst way possible. Dopamine is supposed to be your motivation fuel. It's what drives you to push harder, to work toward your dreams, to conquer challenges. But when you burn through it on empty pleasure, your brain no longer has the fuel it needs for the things that actually matter. Think about it. The moment you feel stressed, bored, or lonely, your brain tells you to seek relief. And instead of channeling that energy into something productive, something meaningful, you take the easy way out. And every time you do, you reinforce a dangerous cycle. More pleasure equals more dopamine. More dopamine equals more dependency. More dependency equals less control. And before you know it, you're trapped, stuck in a cycle that makes you weaker every time. And this isn't just theory. This is something the greatest minds in history knew long before science ever caught up. The Stoics, some of the greatest thinkers in history, warned about this very trap. They understood that pleasure, when left unchecked, leads to weakness. That a man who cannot control his desires will eventually become enslaved by them. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, once said, "No man is free who is a slave to his body." And that's exactly what happens when you let this habit control you. Every time you give in, you reinforce a mindset of weakness. You tell yourself, "I need this." But do you? Or is it just an illusion? An impulse that's been trained into you by a world that profits from your indulgence? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors of Rome, believed in mastering desires, not being ruled by them. He knew that a man who lets his urges dictate his actions will never be truly free. Because the more you seek pleasure, the more you become its prisoner. And here's the real kicker. Every great man in history, from warriors to emperors to visionaries, had one thing in common. They controlled their desires. They didn't let their urges weaken them. They didn't trade their potential for a few fleeting moments of pleasure. Instead, they channeled their energy into something greater. And because of that, they achieved what most men never will. So ask yourself, how much time have you wasted on this habit? How much energy have you drained without even realizing it? How much further could you be in life if you took control instead of giving in? You already know the answer. And the good news? You don't have to stay stuck in this cycle. You can break free. But it won't happen by accident. It won't happen by wishing things were different. It will happen when you make a conscious decision to take back control. If this message resonates with you, don't just sit on it, take action. Like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe for more life-changing content. Your journey to self-mastery starts now. So, how do you escape this trap? How do you break free from a habit that's been silently draining your strength, killing your confidence, and holding you back? The answer lies in 3 Stoic principles. Self-discipline, the key to true freedom. Purpose, replacing the habit with something greater. Transmutation, redirecting your energy into something powerful. Let's start with the first, self-discipline. Epictetus, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, said, "No man is truly free who is not master of himself." And that's where it begins. The moment you decide to stop being a slave to your desires is the moment you start reclaiming your power. But let's be clear, self-discipline isn't about denial. It's not about suppressing your urges and hoping they disappear. It's about choosing what's truly valuable over what's easy. Every time you resist the urge, you're training your mind to become stronger. You're building mental toughness. And over time, your impulses will lose their control over you. But discipline alone isn't enough. You need a purpose, a mission greater than your desires. The Stoics believe that a life without purpose is a life wasted. And that's why so many men struggle with this habit. It's not just about self-control. It's about having nothing meaningful to channel your energy into. Think about it. If your mind is occupied with building a business, mastering a skill, or pursuing greatness, do you really have time for pointless indulgence? This is why you must replace the habit with something greater. The final step, transmutation. Ancient warriors, artists, and philosophers knew a secret that most men today ignore. They understood that sexual energy is the most powerful force inside a man's body. And when that energy is wasted, so is his potential. But when it's redirected, when it's channeled into something productive, it becomes a source of unstoppable drive. Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest minds in history, stayed celibate his entire life because he understood this principle. He knew that by redirecting his energy, he could achieve a level of greatness others couldn't. This is exactly what the Stoics preached. Instead of wasting your energy on temporary pleasure, use it to fuel your ambition, your creativity, and your discipline. And when you do, everything changes. You become more confident, more focused, more in control. And in the next section, I'll show you exactly what happens when you quit. Imagine this. You wake up every day with unbreakable confidence. No guilt, no weakness, just pure, unstoppable energy. Your mind is sharper. Your focus is unshakable. Your drive to achieve skyrockets. This isn't just a theory. It's science. When you break free from this habit, your body and mind go through a transformation. And the benefits? They're undeniable. Your testosterone levels increase. Studies show that abstaining from this habit for just 7 days can lead to a 45% spike in testosterone. And higher testosterone? That means more energy, more strength, more confidence. Your mental clarity sharpens. That brain fog you've been struggling with, it starts to fade. You feel more alert, more focused, more alive. Your ability to think, solve problems, and make decisions improves drastically. Your motivation returns. Remember when you used to feel hungry for success? When you had ambition, drive, and a fire inside you? That fire comes back, stronger than ever. You become more attractive. Not just physically, but energetically. People notice. Your confidence radiates. Your presence demands respect. And suddenly, the world responds to you differently. You regain control of your mind. No more urges controlling you. No more being a slave to pleasure. You decide what you do. You decide who you become. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. And the first few days? They're the hardest. The first few days will test you. Your mind will fight back. It's been wired for instant gratification, and now you're rewriting the script. You'll feel urges. Your brain will try to convince you to relapse. But here's the secret. Every time you resist, you get stronger. The cravings don't last forever. They come in waves. But if you push through, if you stay disciplined, you'll reach the other side. And that's where everything changes. Your energy levels skyrocket. You wake up feeling rested, ready to take on the day. No more sluggish mornings, no more brain fog. Your confidence becomes unshakable. You walk differently. You talk differently. People notice. Your drive to achieve goes into overdrive. You stop wasting time. You start building, creating, improving. You become a man in control. No more guilt. No more feeling powerless. You dictate your actions, not your impulses. This is what the Stoics meant by true freedom. It's not just about quitting a habit. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about becoming the man you were meant to be. But here's the final question. Will you keep letting this habit steal your potential? Or will you take control and break free? Because the choice is yours. And in the next section, I'll give you the final challenge. Are you ready? Now it all comes down to this. You've seen the truth. You understand the cost of staying stuck, the energy lost, the confidence drained, the potential wasted. And you've seen what happens when you break free, the power, the clarity, the unstoppable momentum. But knowing isn't enough. Action is what separates the weak from the strong. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, take full control. No compromises. No excuses. Prove to yourself that you're stronger than your urges. At first, your mind will resist. It will try to convince you that just once won't hurt. Don't listen. Every time you feel the urge, use it as fuel. Work out. Read. Build. Create. Push yourself forward. And after 7 days, go for 30. Because once you feel the power of self-control, you won't want to go back. This is your moment. Your turning point. So, are you ready to step up? Are you ready to stop being controlled and start taking control? If you're committed, comment, I'm in below. Let's build a community of men who refuse to be weak. And if you want more content to help you stay on this path, subscribe now, because your journey to self-mastery is just beginning. This isn't just about quitting a habit. It's about reclaiming your life. Every great man in history, from warriors to visionaries, understood one thing. Self-mastery is the foundation of true power. And now it's your turn. You can either stay where you are, stuck in a cycle of temporary pleasure and long-term regret, or you can rise above it. The choice is yours. But remember this, no great man was ever ruled by his impulses. The ones who shaped history were the ones who took control, mastered themselves, and built something greater. So what will you do? Will you let this moment pass, another video, another fleeting motivation? Or will you act? If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment, and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. Your journey to self-mastery starts right now. Are you ready?